Hey, friends. Today, I just wanted to share a little story with you that reminds me. I'm an A&M student previously, and so I am an Aggie. And they start yell practice with, got a little story for you, Ags. And so it just kind of reminded me of that. So, hello to all my fellow Aggies out there. And don't worry, I don't hold it against you if you go to the other school because, I'm supposed to love all people. Okay, you can tell I'm kind of goofy today, but really, in all seriousness, I just kind of wanted to share a story with you guys from my own personal journey and walk. My neighbor's cat just came up. Hello, Sir Jorgen Borgen. It's not really his name, it's just what we have chosen to call him. My children actually hate it. They think that that's so stupid, but I made it up and I think it's hilarious. I think I stole it from one of the Frozen. I think it's actually from one of the Frozens. So there you go. I can't even really take credit for like coming up with it, but definitely I like the name. He's meowing at me. That's hilarious. He wants me to let him in. It's a little chilly out there. Okay. So anyway, to the story. So I just want to take a short time, even though this story could take a really long time, but I wanted to share with you the story of the process of our adoption of our precious Mia. So at any rate, I had always known I wanted to adopt a child, literally since the time in the 80s. I mean, I'm really young, y'all, but I was alive in the 80s. And when Cabbage Patch Kids came out, and I know those of you who are my age remember that there was actually a lot of trauma that happened around that. They were so widely wanted that people ran other people over to get to them. Literally, people died trying to go to the toy store to get a baby doll, which is just kind of crazy to me. But at any rate, that's the world we live in. So anyway, we didn't have very much money, but my mom was just amazing. And she had a friend that actually worked for a toy store. And that precious friend knew that we'd been through a hard year. Our parents had gotten divorced. Things were just tough. Then we found out that my mom had cancer. And so her friend actually was able to hold two Cabbage Patch dolls, one for me and one for my sister, at the store. And so we were able to get Cabbage Patch dolls for Christmas, which was nuts. But at any rate, way back then, because you adopt these baby dolls, right? And they come with a birth certificate and they come with adoption papers and all these things. And man, I'm guessing that's where it came from. But that is something that the Lord set in my heart as a desire. And it was a strong desire from the whole time I was growing up. So at any rate, not a big surprise that when I became an adult and we had a big family, I wanted to add through adoption. And so I called a good friend of mine who I had known for a lot of years. I ran a daycare, and she had brought her sons into the daycare whenever I was first starting owning the daycare. And she was traveling to Oklahoma to follow a model of it was just a home for women who were pregnant and in trouble. So maybe their families were kicking them out, or maybe they just they were already on their own, but they just didn't have the funds or resources to get the medical care they needed and things like that. So anyway, she went and was doing this, but she would be gone for a lot of days, and our daycare was open until very late at night. So at any rate, we'll cut to the chase with all of that. So I knew her from there, and I called her up and I said, listen, we already have 3 children, and I am actually pregnant right now with my 4th. Would you even consider, accepting an application from us for adoption? Because this is deep, deep in my heart, but I know that you have so many families out there that are wanting to adopt and they don't have any children. And so I also don't want to make anybody feel any kind of way, but I know this desire that the Lord has put in my heart, and I'm just feeling like this is the time to do it. So through all of that, she said, yes, we could start the paperwork and all of this. And so there were a million different things I could share with you, but today I'm going to focus on just one small aspect. And that was, we had the opportunity from that moment then through the application process, and as we went to different trainings and different things, to pray for our birth mom. And don't get me wrong, we didn't know who our birth mom was. We didn't know her name or any of that, because they don't assign you to a birth mom. The birth mom actually gets to choose you in a normal ish. There's no such thing as normal when you're talking about these processes, but that's what everybody hopes for, is that you would get to meet your birth mom, that you could even potentially be in the room when she gives birth, because as I well know, the Lord sets adoption in your heart, and that baby, as the adoptive mom, that is your child. No different. I have had biological children, and I'm telling you, this sweet, precious girl that the Lord has entrusted me with is exactly the same to me as a daughter. There is no difference in, maybe there's a little bit more of a fierceness, to be honest, of a protective love for her, because she's had struggle from the womb, right? Because there's just been change. And so, at any rate, with all that said, I know through that process, I had a lot of asks of the Lord, but we prayed a lot for our birth mom. And the Lord actually put it in my heart to write her letters. So we would write her letters, Dear Birth Mom, and then just write her different things. And the Lord actually started waking me in the middle of the night and putting things really heavy in my heart. So a couple of the things, and I won't share too much of the story because it's kind of her story to share, but one of the things that he woke me up was to pray that our birth mom would not choose abortion. And that sounds kind of like a silly request, right? Because obviously, if she becomes our birth mom, she doesn't choose abortion. But I know that the Lord put it in my heart to pray that our birth mom would not choose abortion. And later on, I'm just going to kind of fast forward through a lot of really cool details. But just through the provision and grace of the Lord, I had the opportunity to sit with our birth mom over and over again. Now, this was after, so our daughter was born, and I found out about her when she was 4 days old. So I did not get to see her be born, and I was not there for that part, but I did get to bring her home from the hospital, which was just a sweet gift. I mean, just a precious, precious gift. So at any rate, I had the opportunity over the next several years. We did open adoption, so we knew who our birth mom was, and she knew who we were. And I wrote her a lot of letters. And then, especially after I knew who she was, I wrote her letters as well. And I got to sit with her and ask her, how was her pregnancy? What things did she go through? And I told her about some of the things that the Lord set in my heart to pray. And she said, man, that's crazy, because everyone in my family, with the exception of one sister, was telling her to get an abortion. So she had a lot of pressure from her family that she couldn't support a child and many other factors, but that this was not a good choice for her to carry on the pregnancy. And through all of that, she chose for the next 8 months to carry that precious baby, who is my daughter, and did not obviously have an abortion. And so that's just one small story about Mia and the events surrounding her adoption and her birth and all of that. There's a lot more than that. So I would love the opportunity to get to share some more of those stories. If you have, I don't know, if you've just got a group that is considering adoption, or maybe they're not considering adoption, or maybe they're in process, or there's just a lot of different ways that maybe they're just even in a season of struggling with believing God for their own children that maybe aren't walking in the Lord. So the Lord has shown me a lot of different things about how he's had his hand on Mia since before she was born, and how no matter how much comes into our life that is a struggle and that is hard and something that we wouldn't ask for, he continues to have his hand over her and over us. And so anyway, if you need a message of hope and different things, and you would like to hear some more of these stories, I have probably 1,000 about our experience through adoption and all of that. And I would love and be honored to sit and share them with you. So anyway, hope you're doing well. If you have a story that you want to share, please leave it in the comments below. I always love to read what you guys have to say. It just blesses me. So I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later.